What's up, everybody? Tony Cotillo here. Heat Ratio Sports. And I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't. Make sure you're checking in. I got to hear from the people because I didn't expect to do this. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want to come on here. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to be over with it. But the more and more I watch and I read and I listen, it just gets old, man. This whole thing gets old. It started in game one, it continues in game two, and now we're down 2-0. And listen, this is a heartbreaker. I don't care what anybody says. We can sit here and we can talk about that. It doesn't really mean nothing. We just got to get a win. We just got to get a win. Look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel that way. I don't feel this way. This was a very demoralizing game. Very demoralizing. My man, Sean, what's up, Sean? Checking in as always, man. It just cursed. Listen, you know, please do me a favor. If you are checking in, if I hear one thing about the refs, I'm going to scream. Okay. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care about it. It doesn't matter. We can watch visualizations of Nick Nurse throwing a timeout out. We can watch jersey pulls. We can watch whatever the hell you want. But please, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Were the refs the reason why Buddy Hield gets you 2 points? Were the refs the reason why we couldn't rebound at the end of the game? Were the refs the reason why everything was scattered and we left Dante DiVincenzo wide open again? Like, please explain this to me. That's the problem. Like, I don't want to hear all this nonsense about the referees. And I'm so tired of hearing about Josh Hart not being good. Get a friggin' clue, man. Do me a favor. Do some damn research and get a clue. The dude's been good all goddamn year. Okay, yeah, he ain't been great from three-point land. That's fine. Okay, but he's been a goddamn good player all year long. Double-doubles, continually. Okay, continually. Again, my man Bruce checking in. When a 38-year-old Kyle Lowry is the most physical player on your team, recipe for losing. Man, let's give a shout out, Bruce, to Kyle Lowry, who actually showed some goddamn heart for the Philadelphia 76ers at 38 years old. Let's give a shout out to Tyrese Maxey. Okay, I don't even want to, I'm tired of hearing about the flu game, too. Stop with the Jordan references. Tyrese Maxey played his actual ass off. Okay? He played his ass off. He showed you he was able to take this team on its back when it needed it. Okay? And don't with the Joel Embiid, the dude's playing on one goddamn leg, man. He's playing on what? Like, what do you want? Like, what? Please explain to me, for the love of God, what do you want out of Joel Embiid? I like I said, I cannot, I can't put into words what people are saying. I can't. And this just comes down to a team that lost all fundamentals in the final 30 seconds of the game. It's exactly, listen, there's no reason why that we should be walking out with an L. No reason why. And if you want to get, listen, if you want to get particular, okay, and you want to be transparent here, let's talk about Kyle Lowry. As much as he was unbelievable, he did miss 2 key free throws at the end of the game. Okay? So in the final minute, Kyle Lowry had a chance to ice this game with multiple trips to the line, and he only hit 1 or 2. Okay? So I'm not saying that's why we lost, but I'm saying, listen, if you want to call it all out, okay, let's call it all out. And honestly, if you're gonna sit here and tell me about Tobias Harris, just don't even tune in. Just don't even tune in. Because you can say what you want about Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, and you know me, I'm not a tremendously huge Tobias Harris guy. I've been one of the biggest critics of Tobias Harris over the past 4 years, but he had 10-9, and he had some really good defensive stalwarts, and he had a fantastic defensive rebound at the end, the final minute and a half of the game, in order to give us a second chance shot to go up. Let's talk about Kelly Oubre. Let's talk about Buddy Hield. Let's talk about these dudes that have been absolute ghosts. Remember, this is what I love about a lot of people. Okay. I am so tired of being nice. I am. I've been nice for too goddamn long, man. I am so tired of being nice. I used to come on here. Okay. I used to come on here and I used to call out people all the time. I used to come out and call out people all the time. And then I start getting really nice. Okay. Then I start getting really nice. And I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But you know what? Unfortunately, I got to go back to being that way because, again, here we are sitting here, and I got to watch a bunch of morons on a timeline talk about things they have no idea what they're talking about. How many times have we talked about, slow to roll on Kelly Oubre? Slow to roll. Nice player. Extremely inconsistent, right? Extremely inconsistent. Slow to roll on Kelly Oubre. Oh, no, man. Kelly Oubre, sign him up, man. He's got to be signed next year. We got to grab him. 2 of 7, 28%. 2 rebounds. 2 rebounds. 25 minutes. Kelly Oubre, right? Just calling it out. And again, can I just say this is what happens in the city of Philadelphia? We consistently overexpose our heroes. Okay? We overexpose our heroes. Now, all of a sudden, Nicholas Batum, okay, and I get it, defensive purposes, 32 and a half minutes tonight. And you know what he gave you? 6 points. 6 points. That's what he gave you. Buddy Hield, 14 minutes. All of a sudden, Buddy Hield can't play more than 15 minutes a game. Gets up 5 shots, 2 threes. Is he running away from the ball? And listen, I am not going to critique Nick Nurse. I have all respect in the world for Nick Nurse. And this is a guy who's really trying to figure this out on the fly. But I watched some energy from Paul Reed coming into a game, had a nice tip in, had some defensive rebounds, and he only gets 8 minutes. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to go with energy. Sometimes you got to go with energy. And I saw zero energy from anybody except Embiid, Maxey, and yes, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry gave me energy, right? He gave me energy. I saw it. Man, someone says, we don't deserve Embiid. The disrespect the city has shown him, I'd bounce the first second I could if I were him. Sean, you know this as well as I do. You've been following me for a long time, man. You've been riding with me for a long time. Okay? And what have I always said about Joel Embiid? What was going to happen? Eventually, this dude has been playing after injury and injury and injury and persevering and coming back, eventually he's going to say, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm going to walk in the office and say, I'm out. I can't do it anymore, right? Eventually, this is where we're going to be. And stop with the overreaction. We're going to say it's over. It's not overreaction. We've been through this multiple times, man. Multiple times. How many times do we have to go through it? And you know what? I'm going to sit there and throw up all day tomorrow. Okay? I don't even want to turn the freaking radio on because all day tomorrow, it's all going to be a bunch of garbage. It's going to be a bunch of garbage in the morning with the stupid votes that they're going to throw up there about the same thing. And they're not even going to look inside the game. They're not. It's going to be, it's Joel Embiid. It's the same old washed out narrative by the same freaking people over and over again. I watched host after host consistently drop the ball on Josh Hart. I watched host after host consistently, talk about the refs after this game. They did nothing except talk about the refs. I mean, come on, man. Stop. Okay? Stop it. Look, you knew. Again, you thought the Knicks were a pushover. And this is where I say people don't do their homework. Okay? Because you know why? Tell me again what you think the percentage of all these people that get to grab a microphone and talk on the air, on the radio waves, when they get to talk on the radio waves about these matchups, okay? How many games do you think they watch of them? How much game film do you think they watch of the Knicks? All they're doing is diving into a freaking encyclopedia and going on Wikipedia and going on stats and reading you percentages. It's all garbage. There's no eye test. There's zero. Nobody's actually breaking the game down and watching. We've watched Josh Hart step up since Julius Randle was injured. We watched it consistently. We watched it. If you watch the game, if you actually watch the and I'm not talking about watching SVP on ESPN and watching the highlights. I'm actually talking about watching a freaking game, a game that they didn't play the 76ers in, maybe a West Coast game, maybe another game. See, you got me all fired up because I'm so tired of it. So tired of it, man. Friggin' lazy. So many people in this town are friggin' lazy, and they take advantage of the platforms that they have, and they just come in and they just do a job. That's it. They don't buy in, right? They don't buy in. And I've been bought in. I've been invested. And that's why I'm so pissed off, because I've been invested for so long, and we're watching this over and over and over again. Damn, I'm supposed to be watching my winning bets right now. I'm supposed to be tallying my cash and my tickets right now. I'm supposed to be doing a youth sports podcast. And here I go crazy over the 76ers because they disappoint us again. And then I got to listen to all the garbage. I think that's going to be like, it was wasted energy was, in the beginning of the year was my New Year's resolution. Okay. But I think it's just going to be stop listening, man. Stop, get off Twitter, get off X. Stop listening to the garbage, because that's what it is. It's just garbage. That's all it is. It's garbage. And we're going to have to listen to it for another 2 days, man. We're going to have to listen to it another 2 days. It's a shame. It's a shame, man. Man, Javon says, even down 0-2, I think they're going to be okay coming back home. So, yeah, listen, I am not saying this series is over. I'm talking about this game specifically. I'm talking about, again, a town that built up this narrative that it was only the Knicks. It's only the Knicks. Knicks aren't good. Knicks aren't going to beat nobody. Have you watched their coach? Have you watched what Tibbs has been able to do all year long? Have you even watched it? Had you paid attention? No, you didn't. You had no clue. You had no clue what he's been doing all year. Because if you had a clue, right? If you had a clue, you would have been saying, this is going to be a tough matchup. This is going to be a battle. You wouldn't have been saying, yeah, the Knicks are nothing. The Knicks, they're not going to be able to do anything. Listen, man, this is a battle. And it's going to be a battle. This series is far from over. All I'm saying is it's demoralizing because we've watched it again. There's no way in hell we should have gave away that game in the final minute, 30 seconds, whatever you want to call it. There's no way. There's no way. And here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing, because I'll promo myself again, because I only do shows on Sirius XM, and you think they would actually promo the show. No, they don't. So I'll self-promote myself, which I always do, and I've done that every freaking outlet I've ever worked at before in my life, because I am a one-man goddamn show. Okay. But at the end of the day, I sat there in the beginning of the year and I said the Knicks were a problem. I said in the middle of the year, the Knicks were a problem. Because you know what? I actually did my homework. Okay. So I knew this was going to be an issue. If you didn't think this was going to be an issue, you were sadly mistaken. This is more than just surrounding Joel Embiid. This is the way the Knicks play. And they haven't even gotten up from OG. Listen, we talked about, that Bogdanovich trade was huge for them. In the middle of the year at the trade deadline. That dude is a shooter. He makes shots when he needs to make them. Consistently. God, this pisses me off. Again, you're right, Javon. Tobias did what you needed him from. Exactly. Tobias gave you what he was supposed to give you. Okay? So, listen, here's what I will say. Okay? Nick Nurse isn't dumb. Tobias Harris isn't dumb. That's Tobias knows if he's off. Tobias knows if he's not feeling it. You could say what you want and get your silly narratives out there. But Tobias, what he did, he filled the stat sheet up tonight. You could talk about whatever you want. Okay. Tobias Harris shot 40% from three. Okay. Again, Buddy Hield shot 0 from three. The guy you brought in to shoot from three. Okay. Tobias Harris had 9 rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, and played some good goddamn defense in 41 minutes. So we can sit here and talk about Tobias Harris all we want. Tobias Harris is far from the reason why you lost this game. Far from the reason. You could talk about Kyle Lowry all you want. But did you really think Kyle Lowry was going to give you 18 again? Kyle Lowry, to give you what he gave you, 2 steals, 1 block, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1 offensive, huge rebound, 3 assists, shot 50% from the line, which is bad. He should have hit at least 3 out of the 4. Shot 40% for 3, gave you 2 threes. Again, more than Buddy Hield. He ain't the reason why you lost. But again, you have 0 production from your bench. 0 production from your bench. And again, I don't know what else needs to happen, right? I don't know what else needs to happen. If Buddy ain't shooting, got to go to Javon. I don't know why no campaign comes in. I don't know why. I don't understand. Why is there no campaign? I mean, did he fall out of favor for some reason? I don't, again, and I know all about Nick Nurse. They're going to go, historically, Nick Nurse I heard somebody today, historically, Nick Nurse with Toronto, there's a 7-game rotation. What the hell do you know? All of a sudden now, would you go back and watch every Toronto game in the playoffs at Nick Nurse, or did you read it somewhere? Stop with all this bull. Stop. Okay? Watch the game. He didn't make that adjustment. But again, you have to remember, and I keep saying this, Joel Embiid comes back. First time since the trade deadline. Still trying to put these pieces together. So you have to look at this and say, okay, all right, fine. Some of it does lie on the coach. But a lot of this has to be on the players, man. Listen, Buddy Hield is part of, if you want to call it your 7-man rotation, okay? Buddy Hield is giving you nothing. I heard people talk about Tobias Harris, give me nothing. Give me nothing. Absolutely give me nothing. Really? What about Buddy Hield? What'd he give you? Nobody talking about that. Nobody talking about Buddy Hield and what Buddy Hield's giving you, which has been garbage, which has been nothing, right? So that's what I'm saying. I will consistently argue with anybody who wants to argue. Again, you want to argue, throw it in the comments. I'm curious. I am just, again, like, all right, here we go. Right. On the 76ers plan to file a grievance to the NBA over officiate. Okay, great. What's that going to do? What's it going to do? You already lost, man. Like, again, who cares? Can we stop talking about, we're going to talk about the refs so much, right? So much that we're going to forget why we actually lost these games. Shout out to Joel Embiid. Okay. This is from Kai Carlin, great Kai Carlin, who covers the Sixers for USA Today, at Kai_Carlin on Twitter. Direct quote from Joel Embiid. We should be 2-0. We're good. We're going to win this series. We know we got to fix. We did a better job today, so we're going to fix it. But we're the better team. Hey, man. Hey, you only see, listen, you ain't hear nothing about the refs right there. You hear nothing about the refs right there. Oh, Javon, you know as well as I. It's going to make me throw up. Don't even turn on the radio tomorrow. Don't even turn on the morning shows. All they're going to talk about is the refs. It's all about the refs. The refs. They're grabbing them. The refs. It's good. The vote. I guarantee you, what's the vote going to be, Javon? That the Sixers lose a game because of the refs? Like, that's all we're going to hear about is the refs. It's going to be so ridiculous. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. My man, we need to stop blaming the refs. I'll say, all right, you had me for a minute there. You had you had me for a minute, and I love you too, man. I love you too, Eric. But why would you bring up Pat Bev? Why? I'm not sure. I'm being honest. Like, do you really think Pat Bev would have changed this game? I mean, honestly, I'm not a Pat Bev guy. Sorry. That to me, no substance there whatsoever. But you're right. I'm not blaming the refs, man. I'm blaming the team. I'm blaming the team. Javon says, I hope people don't kill Maxey. Somebody, some moron out there blame Maxey. Dude's playing out there with half a lung, right? Basically got it depends because he's got to go to the bathroom so bad, out there killing himself, and they'll kill Maxey over something, right? Exactly. Almost triple. What do you have? He had 30 plus, 10 plus, and 8. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Now, Eric says, I saw him play. Listen, I don't think he changes anything, to be honest with you. Like, when I see a guy, Eric, like, this team is formulated around perimeter shooting because of the dish out from Joel Embiid. They need shooters, which is why they went out and got Buddy Hield. That's why we all thought Buddy Hield was going to be like our shooter, right? The guy to knock down these shots from the outside. And unfortunately, he's not been that guy. I mean, listen, the guy we miss is DeAnthony Melton. That's the guy that we miss. And, D-Melt was the guy. D-Melt won us a lot of games in the beginning of the year that people seem to forget about. And people don't even bring up his name. Okay? That's a huge piece. That's a huge piece missing from this team. Okay? I think he was. I mean, look, everybody's got their opinions. I'm not the radio station, Eric. I'm not going to call you dope. I'm not going to tell you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to listen. You have your opinion, and that's fine. I'm just not a Pat Beverly guy. I think he was bad for the team. You think he was good for the team. But listen, we both have our opinions. Neither of us are wrong. Unfortunately, though, we're sitting here down 2-0 to the Knicks. Right? Unfortunately, we're sitting here in the same spot because we're both fans, man. Listen, man, respect to you as well, brother, as always. I again, you another one have been riding with me from the beginning, and I'm done being nice. I'm done being nice, man. I'm telling you that. My man Vance checking out says plenty of playing to go around, but the Sixers got robbed, multiple fouls on Maxey. And Vance, I love you, man. I do. And you are one of the most extreme knowledgeable ballers that I know, but I am not going to hang this on getting robbed. If anybody got robbed, the Sixers robbed themselves. It's as simple as that. Multiple fouls. We could say what we want. Okay? We could say what we want. But guess what? Some of the fouls they call in New York down the stretch, they weren't fouls either. Okay? So it all comes out in the wash, whether he called timeout or not. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm a coach. And Vance, I know you've probably coached as well. In the heat of the moment, and now nobody's going to say this, right? Nobody's going to say this because everybody's going to watch, right? And listen, this is no disrespect to my Delaware Blue Coats family, okay? Because I love them dearly. But if I'm Nick Nurse, after the first timeout that I didn't get, if you go back and watch the footage, that was the most nonchalant timeout call I've ever seen by a coach. Honestly. That was the most nonchalant time. I mean, he was just standing there like this. Bro, if he didn't see you, I'd be running, throwing it in his face, man, like something. Nothing. So, again, that's done. What about the 2 free throws that Lowry missed down the stretch, right? What about the couple turnovers that happened, right? And listen, you can say what you want, but to be able, like, did anybody else say this? And tell me if I'm wrong, please. And again, I'm a huge body language guy. Everybody knows that. I did not like that last shot by Joel Embiid. I'm sorry. Like, he acted like he could give 2 shits when he threw that ball out, right? And I get it. It's demoralizing. There was a lot of things going on, but I think you got to be better in that moment. That's all. Just in that moment. Listen, that dude is basically like Will Shreve right now. So I would say in that moment, I think you got to be a little better, right? You're not wrong, bro, but Bronson clearly I saw it. I saw it. Bronson, yeah, you're right, Vance. Bronson gets that call. I'm not going to disagree. 100%. Just like Jordan doesn't get called on my man Russell, okay, on Utah, right? Jordan doesn't get, like, again, Russell doesn't get that call. But if the role was reversed, Jordan's going to get that call. It's just the way basketball goes. You know that as well as I do. It sucks. But the thing is, and what I've always learned, and I continue to preach to my kids that I coach, you can't let the refs decide a game. You just can't. You got to fight through it. Okay? Dante DiVincenzo had no business being wide open at the top of the key for that shot. No business. Zero. How does that happen? Nobody's. I haven't heard one person on a timeline talk about why he was wide open. Not one person. Everybody's blaming the refs. Nobody's talking about Dante being wide open, hitting that three. Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so there's a lot more to this than just the refs. The refs are always going to be a part of the game. Always. And again, we're just nothing we can change. We can't do nothing about it. The Sixers can grieve the league all they want. They could sit there and they can forfeit whatever. I don't know, whatever the hell they want to do. It doesn't matter. We still lost. We still lost. Sean says, why is the biggest gains of Embiid's career, Eric? He has carried this team on the back. Someone else needs to do their part. Yeah. I mean, look, I agree with that, man. I don't know how much more you got to get out of Joe. Like Joe doesn't. Again, Joe shouldn't have to damn near score 50 for this team to win. Seems not this team is not built that way. Again, you just look at the statistics, man. Just look at the statistics. No, the biggest difference is look. You had 5 guys for New York in double figures. Okay, 5 guys. Okay, and when you look at guys that came off the bench, listen, you can say all you want, but again, Miles McBride gave you 20 minutes and gave you 9 points, right? He had a steal, had a couple assists, he had a rebound, offensive rebound, mind you. No, I'm sorry, it was defensive rebound. Mitchell Robinson had the 3 offensive rebounds again. But Bogdanovich comes in, grabs 2 huge threes, right? Gives you 6 points. So, I mean, like, my whole thing is, besides that, you got DiVincenzo at 19, Bronson with 24, Hartenstein with 14. Okay, Hartenstein, man, I'm going to tell you something. If we are going to lose a series, Isaiah Hartenstein, we got problems. We have major problems because I'll tell you what, man, that dude, sorry, he don't do it for me. I mean, he had a great game. I'm not going to take away from him, but if I'm going to have to worry about Isaiah Hartenstein, we got problems. Josh Hart, listen, man, like, again, for all the morons that say Josh Hart wasn't good, hey, he only played 48 minutes, right? That's all. 48 minutes. Shot 43% from the field. I could give 2 shits what he did for 3. I'm going to talk about 3, fine. You want to talk about his 3-point percentage? He only shot 31%. I can look that up on NBA.com. I can look all that, the same stuff that you're talking all week. I can look on NBA.com. But somebody in Philly radio watch a friggin' game. Somebody watch a game and tell me what you see, right? Where's Devon Givens when you need him? Right? Devon would be breaking that down. I guarantee you Devon Givens and say Josh Hart stinks. I guarantee Devon Givens and say Josh Hart can't play. Right? And that's the difference between a basketball guy who actually breaks down film and just a host that grabs a microphone and talks sports stats off of NBA.com. Completely different. Completely different. Think about that. Think about that. So, again, all the respect in the world. All the respect in the world for Devon Givens. And that's why. Because the man knows basketball. Yep. Big PHLY guy. Tremendous media outlet. Yeah, man. Yo, hey, Sean, I'm trying to get them to hire me. But who knows, man? Maybe they don't want no Jigsaw on their team. Who knows? But all I know is that this game should have been won. It's simple. Eric, a lot of people overlooked the net. I said that Eric, I said that before you came on. I completely agree. I said that before. completely overlooked the Knicks. And even after game one, I heard, and I'm not going to call their names out, but I heard specific people in radio on the timeline, right? On the timeline. I heard them both. I heard people say, you know what? Yeah, but you know what? Even if they win, I heard, even if they win, they're not going to win anymore. What? What are you talking about? That just shows you have no clue. Like zero clue, man. And here's the thing. I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it again. There is no Julius Randle on this team. OG Anunoby comes over and has done nothing offensively in the last, I'll say, 15 games. And somehow, some way, my man Tibbs consistently gets it done. Everybody wants to talk about Spoelstra. Everybody wants to talk about Spoltz. I get it. But who's bringing up Tibbs? Who's bringing up Tibbs, man? Tibbs deserves some love because what he's doing right now, he's putting on a clinic, man. He's put on a clinic. So, you've not only you've not only underestimated the talent of the New York Knicks, you've underestimated the coach. You underestimate the style of gameplay that they were going to employ. You underestimated it all. And I don't think the coach underestimated it. I think some of the players underestimated it, and a lot of people in the Philly media underestimated it as well. A lot of people thought this was going to be a pushover. A lot of people thought this was going to be a pushover. Javon says, good thing for Joe is that he has his running mate, Maxey. Exactly. Those two, but Javon, we need that other piece, man. We need that other piece. Eric says, what I meant about biggest game was franchise cornerstone player. We can't go down 3-0 in this series. We lose in 4 or 5 games in the first round. That's brutal. Yeah, man. Listen, you definitely can't go down 3-0. Right? You gotta come Thursday and take care of business. Right? You got to take care of business. Eric says, and I agree, Josh freaking Hart is doing better than our number 3 and Tobias Harris. But if you listen, but Philly says he stinks. Josh Hart stinks. That's what I heard on the radio all week. Josh Hart stinks. Come on, man. Like, get a clue. I'm sorry. Please get a friggin' clue. Right? Again, get a clue. Always room for the jigsaw. Hey, man, listen, my man EP's doing a great job in the morning with Cuz. He is. But if they ever have room for a third guy and they want to throw a little jigsaw and Cuz in the mix or jigsaw on the bro with Renee or who knows, man, I'm all in. I'm all in. I would love to jump on with those guys. I think that would be fantastic. I think it's a very good up-and-coming outlet that actually talks real stuff, actually talks X's and O's. Like, see, I've always been about the writer, and again, I get it, right? A lot of those writers may not have been radio guys or media guys, and they're doing something a little different. But you have to understand that, at the end of the day, that it's more than just being entertainment. Like, I'm old school, right? I'm old school. I like to dive deep into the game. That's why I love sports betting. That's why I love fantasy, because I get to dive deep into the analytics, right? I like that. I like to see, past trends. I like to watch a ton of game film and because, anybody can go and look up stats. But the best thing about PHLY is a lot of those guys like a Derek Bodner, right? Like a Devon. Bodner was the guy. He was always the guy in Philadelphia, right? But people soured on why? Because they wanted, Johnny Two Toes over there with a microphone that's got, 4,000 followers and makes great memes and, makes funny jokes. Well, he doesn't know shit about the game of basketball. Like, you have radio stations right now, and let's get real for a minute. You have radio stations right now actually giving people shows. And I'm not just talking about the two big ones, right? There's other radio stations that give people a platform that probably don't deserve to have it, okay? But you know why they get it? It's because, that guy's got a following. So if he's got like, and it's a word to the wise, all those people that you know who you are, you're getting used, man. Understand that you're getting used and it sucks. There's a ton of talent out there, man. There is a ton of talent out there. Okay. A ton. I watch it. I listen to it. And I listen, I'm blown away. I think it's fantastic. There is so much young talent on a microphone that it is really ridiculous right now. It's like I am a big wrestling guy, and I look at WWE, I look at AEW, and I look at Ring of Honor, I look at NWA, I look at TNA, and I watch so much talent, right? So much talent, and somehow it's not utilized the same way. But now I look at this talent specifically in Philadelphia, and, the more and more I've dove deep into it, there's a ton of talent that's on a microphone that does tremendous work. But again, just because they're not friends with somebody or they can't bolt through the politics or, maybe they don't have the best look or the best friend or they can't make a funny meme or they can't make a joke or they can't get 4 people to tune in. All of a sudden they get passed aside. And it's a shame. And these dudes are busting their ass, and girls, guys and girls, busting their ass, but not getting recognized, all because maybe they don't know somebody. And it's a shame. And I'll continue to be that guy that calls those people out. Because guess what? For all the years, and see, now you got me on my soapbox here because Javon brought me into it. Javon's like, come on, talk about it. Right? My man, listen, my man Dante checking in. Another guy killing it, right? But now you got me on my soapbox. And now you're gonna have me go off because listen, man, you people just don't know. Like, you just don't know. Right? I'm sorry, but there are so many frauds out there in this outlet. Okay, it's a shame. It is. And I'm going to say it again. If you see somebody, okay, that bounces from one outlet to the next outlet to the next outlet. I'm a podcaster here. I'm part of this group. I'm part of that group. Oh, now this is the best group in the world. I'm part of this is the best group in the world. Oh, we're making big things. Bro, there's a problem there. That just shows that you weren't willing to build anything, that you just jumped off ship to the next thing that you thought was picking up steam, man. And it's a shame, right? It's a shame. Oh, Devon, I know who we're talking about. I saw that too. All of a sudden, tied right into you, right? All of a sudden, tied right into you. But where are those people at on a normal basis? When you're hitting bets, when you're dropping lines, when you're throwing your podcast up, right? Where are they at? Yo, Dante, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And listen, this is no disrespect to my boys over there at EOP. Got much respect for Edge of Philly Sports, man. Those dudes, and shout out to Freddie, man. His son continues to get treatment. Think about him every day. Those guys do good things over there, man. They put on a good product, but they need to be careful on who they bring on to that platform. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Need to be very careful who you bring onto that platform because certain people just like to dive deep into the subtweets and jump on everybody's big following. And let me get in there. Let me join the follow train over here. Let me join this person over here. See, I'm transparent, man. I don't know how to shut up. That's my problem. I don't know how to shut up. And that's why some people don't like me, but that's okay because I'm just real. This is who I am. Okay, I'm 46 years old. I am so done with all that other drama, man. I think it's hilarious. Okay, I don't care. And I'm going to tell you something right now, man. I'm 46 years old, and right now, 100%, there's some 25, 26-year-old peeps. I'll run circles around you, bro. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, run circles around you. That's all I'm going to tell you, man. And here's my man, Dante. And how many people out there are looking at East Coast? How many people see Dante's graphics? How many people see Dante's NCAA coverage? I know I do. But all of a sudden, when cats all of a sudden get credentialed somehow to go out to Senior Bowls, all of a sudden they're the truth. And it's not disrespecting anybody, okay? But what I'm saying is If you're going to do that as a rookie, these people already going on there hating the guys that have been there and doing it. And that's what kills me. You get out there one time. How about laying the line to people who paved the way for you to do that? Right? I follow everybody. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I try to see what everybody's doing. And here's what I will say too. And again, I'm sorry we're going off kilter here, but this is just who I am. Okay. This is what I will say. Stop using an excuse when you hear somebody tell you, man, I'm sorry. I didn't see you on my timeline. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't see that stuff you were doing. Right? I'm sorry. I've been so busy. Man, it's all shit. Because guess what? If they really, really wanted to follow what you were doing, they can easily formulate a timeline just specifically for the people they want to know about. But they don't, because they don't care. They don't care. And that's the shame of it. And it sucks. I watch people all the time, man. I sent a tweet. I was feeling a little kind of way earlier, man. You know how much good advice I've given to people over the years, how much stuff. And again, it's all good, man. I want people to grow. I want people to grow. I do. I honestly do. I'm not a guy who hates on anybody. Okay. I hate on the people that hate on me. Okay. I say everything. I am the loyalest guy you'll ever meet until you do me dirty once. Do me dirty once and you're dead to me, man. Simple as that. I can't be any other way about it. And I see it too much and it sucks. Okay. It sucks. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, man. Like I went through a whole year of going through. Listen, I'll be honest with you, man. Went through some therapy, and went through some mental health issues and nothing crazy, but just trying to find myself a little bit, right? Trying to find myself a little bit, understanding what I'm made to do, midlife crisis, so to speak. And I look at that, and the first thing my therapist would say to me is, man, you just wear everybody's emotions on your sleeve. And I do because it gets me so angry. It gets me so angry to watch people getting used. And that's what kills me. I hate to see people get used. So I will tell you, I will never use anybody. Okay. Ever. And if you come do anything with me, I will give you your flowers as much as I can. I do that all the time. And I think we all should. And there's certain people that do that. There's certain people that do. There's a lot of good people out there, man. A lot of good people. But unfortunately, you have that toxicity, man. Those users and abusers out there. And me and Javon, I'm not going to get any more into it, but me and Javon know exactly who it is. We know at least one of them, right? We know at least one of them. I gave you a hint on EOP and gave you a hint on another one. Okay. Listen, I could tell you stories. I could show you text messages. I give you all, but I don't care, man. I don't care because guess what? At the end of the day, man, I'm going to be like, I don't know if anyone wants AEW, but I'm going to be a real inconsiderate guy right now when I say, I'm like, just call me MJF, man, because I'm better than you, and you know it. Unfortunately, it's okay. It's okay to admit it. But now I'm just kidding. I got to play the heel role a little bit. But yeah, man, listen. My man says, yeah, bro, people don't know how to grow organically. You know what? Trim the fat, bro. I had to learn that. And here's what I would say too. Organically. I love that word. And you know what, Dante? Again, you know how many people use that word in the wrong context? Right? Like I'll be honest with you. Like I'm just starting to formulate some content from a public relations standpoint. Shout out Karita Parks at Parks PR, does a tremendous job. I follow her way, man. Honestly, she covers the Baltimore Ravens. She covers the Washington Wizards. And I look up to people like that because she runs sports and PR, which is always what I wanted to do. So I've always listened. She's been fantastic. I ask her questions. She gives me answers. I look for guidance. She leads me in the right way. She's very good. She's very articulate. And, that's what this should all be about. And when you say organically, I love when people say, I've grown organically. But then you go on their Facebook feed and they throw a video up and it's got 219 shares. Bro, where are you sharing it to? That's not organic. That's just hijacking fan pages in order to get your views up. And I love the people too now that are on Twitter. Hello, Periscope went away. Periscope, there's no Periscope. There's no Twitter, which means there's no more analytics. So I don't care how many times you want to say, I got 1,000 views on my stream. Why? Because people just kept going through your feed and it kept popping up. There's no analytics for that. Guess what? I run my own PR marketing company. And you know how many times my clients would come to me and I would help them try to get sponsorships. And the first thing to do is they would give me that garbage about Twitter following and Twitter live. And I'm like, that means nothing. How can I analyze that? Where's the real data? Give me the real data. And they look at me like I'm nuts. Yeah, go try. Go try. And you know what? Here's the thing, too. I've represented companies that want to do sponsorships. See, that's the thing, man. I know all about this, okay? I live it every day. I just don't grab a microphone. I run a business. Okay. So when I go out there, I sat in meetings with some of those big stations for my clients, roofing companies, contractors. Okay. When they want to charge $20,000 to $25,000. Okay. $20,000 to $25,000 that wouldn't even get them on WIP. They get on B101, Star 104.5. Are you kidding me? Seriously. $25,000. Oh, yeah, we can't get you on during an Eagles game now. I was laughing. I honestly thought it was comical, right? I honestly thought it was comical. And again, did you know that? No. Bro, I know more. I've been there. I've done it. I've seen it. I've lived it. There's a reason why people don't talk, because they can't. Okay. All I'm saying is, listen, I'm trying the same people that are saying they're building organically. You have to understand that you're really not. Okay. And I've explained this to people and I've explained this to my clients. If you're buying ads, you're not growing organically. You're not. Like, it's okay. Right? People, that's fine, but that's not organic. Organic is really busting your ass to get your name everywhere. Listen, I just started a brand new podcast, and I would appreciate it if everybody checked it out. It's called Fighting for Overtime. I am going to plug it. It's called Fighting for Overtime, and it's addressing anxiety and achievement in youth sports. And it's going to be real stories, my confessions, 20 years as a coach in the youth sports land, softball, soccer, track, volleyball, you name it, school stories, parental stories, psychologists that deal with the mental health aspect, tons of shit that you wouldn't believe, going to make your head spin. I'm not buying one ad for that. Not one. I'm growing it organically, and I'm curious to see where it goes. That's how you grow it organically. My man, listen, Dante knows I don't have to spam my podcast group 5,000 times. Easy way for people to see how desperate you are. Marketing is about people you know and building relationships. I will tell you how spot on this is. There are people that you will look at, and this is how jaded social media is. And that's why, honestly, I can't stand some of it. But social media, they sit there and they say, oh, that guy's only got 400 followers. He doesn't know anybody. Man, he's probably a better connection than 98% of the people that you think are following you. But you have no idea because you're just playing into the bullshit. That's all you're doing. You're playing into the game. And here's what I'll say too. All these quote graphics that people put out there, they're great. They're all AI driven. I'm not stupid. Like, yeah, they're not AI driven. And do yourself a favor too. Do yourself a favor. If you're, and again, I'm gonna give you story time here. Story time with Tony right here. Okay. If you're gonna quote an article, if you're gonna quote somebody, if you're gonna quote anything, man, at least give some goddamn credit to the outlet or the person and not just take it and throw it up on your own image and put your own friggin' brand on it. Because guess what? You just stole that. And the funny thing is, all the people that do that, they think they're never going to get away from it. Okay, well, I'll show you the letters that my clients have received from lawyers of lawsuits to 50 to 100 to 300 to $500,000 in order to take that down. So I'm just trying to give you an FYI. You think it's cute, you think it's a game, it's a business. It's a business for people, but you're too immature to see that. So I'm trying to help you. Okay? Trying to help you. Okay? Tony is showing me just so listen, Dante, man, I have learned so much, man. So much. I have. I've been doing this for such a long time, and you'll start to learn. You'll start to learn why maybe you don't get that chance, Dante. You'll start to learn. You'll start to learn. It's funny. You'll start to learn why you don't get that chance. I've heard people say I'm too over the top. I heard people say I'm too powerful. I heard people say I can't share a stage with somebody because I talk over them or I'm too powerful of a presence. Okay, well then guess what? Maybe you're too small of a presence then, right? I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? Like, give me my own damn show. I'll just do my own thing. Right? I don't know. Go ask Coach Joe. I do the Blue Coats beat for Delaware Blue Coats with Coach Joe Richmond, who is a fantastic individual. Me and Coach Joe ain't got no problems talking over each other. We have fantastic time, man. We were interviewing all kinds of people, loving it. Sharif Abdul Rahim, Sonny Hill. We just had Ryan Ayers, assistant coach from the Blue Coats. A lot of people on there, man. A lot of people on there just talking, having a good time. But people don't understand that because they're too immature. They're too immature. He says, it's funny. I know who you're talking about, man. I never got paid doing graphics for them and producing their show. Funny. When I was with their shows, they were doing it. Oh, dude, you know what, man? I could tell you all the stuff that I did behind the scenes for, everybody think. The funny thing is, I learned this. See, here's another word to the wise. Here's another word to the wise. If you're doing anything for anybody, say you're working for an outlet, okay, you're working for a network and you're running their social media and you're creating graphics or you're doing anything, man, put your goddamn name to it. Because guess what? They're going to steal all that credibility, every single piece of it. And they're never going to give you any credit. And at the end of the day, when you go somewhere, right? When you go somewhere and you want to go out and you want to say, hey, I want to go for this job. I'm going to apply for this job. They're going to say, well, what have you done? And you're going to say, oh, well, I've done this here. I've done this here. And they're going to go, oh, okay. Can I get a reference? Nope. Oh, okay. What is your name on it? Nope. Guess what? You have nothing. You have nothing. Zero. The shame of it is that this happens a lot, man. This happens a lot. And I honestly say this from the heart. I do. Because there's a lot of good people that don't get opportunities. That don't. There's a lot of good people that don't get opportunities. And it's a shame. It is. And then the people that get the opportunities are the people that shouldn't get the opportunities. But they get the opportunities because they got the big sponsor, right? Because their buddy owns a real estate company. Their buddy owns a car dealership. Oh, well, I bring the money. Okay, well, you suck on the mic, but you bring the money, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like, you bring the money. You're a money guy. That's all. You're a money guy. You can't talk, but you're a money guy. Okay, so they go with the money instead of going with the talent. So instead of trying to build the audience and taking the people that they want, what they do, here's a funny, here's a good one. Think about wrestling. Eric, if he's still listening like this, think about wrestling. Vince McMahon never gave the fans what they wanted. Now, you don't expect them to give everything they wanted, right? You don't. So you don't expect that. But you expect to listen to your consumer a little bit, right? What does the consumer want? What do they want to hear? Who do they want to hear? And the funny thing is, when Triple H takes over, what changed? What changed? They damn near did shit on the fly because of the crowd reaction. But in this town, we'll hear multiple people talk about how terrible specific shows are at stations, but they just continue to do the same thing. Why do you think that is? Why? It's money, man. It's all about money. At the end of the day, it's all about money. And it's a shame. It is. It's a shame. It's a shame. because I know I could probably take 2, 3, or 4 people in my circle all together, and absolutely bury some of those people. Bury them. And again, I will say this. I am a very respectful dude. I am not talking about the people that have laid the way. I am not talking about those people. Whether I like them or not, I will always respect the OGs. I always will. I will always respect the OGs consistently. I'm not ashamed to say it either. I call them out all the time in a very respectful manner and say how much I enjoy their programming. Rob Ellis is one of them. I'll listen to Rob all day long. All day long. And Glenn Mack now is retiring, right? You know why? Because he got pushed out, bro. Come on. Like, are we supposed to believe that he wanted? Listen, I get it. He's doing a lot. Glenn's doing a lot. But if you read between the lines, a couple weekends ago, he was a little perturbed that his show got basically pushed. How do you push a Glenn Macnow show? How? Again, I watch it all over, man. Who's making those decisions? An OG. See it. We don't need you. That's a shame. That's a shame. It is. I'm sorry. It's a shame. I've seen it in the industry everywhere I've worked, and it sucks. It really is, man. My man Al checking it. Al, they got me on a soapbox tonight, Al. One of those nights. Dante says, oh, it's funny. And can I just say something, just so everybody understands too? How many people would know East Coast Gridiron is Dante Sell? Right? Only people who invest in other people. Only people who support other people. People wouldn't even know who this is. I know who it is. Okay? Because I've invested in Dante. And I've watched Dante. And I've watched him over and over the years just continue to kill it. But unfortunately, nobody giving him the opportunity that he's damn sure deserves, right? I watched it over and over again. That's how I know. Okay, I'm just saying. That's how I know. And he says, oh, it's funny. I keep all the original artwork. I do too. I take away no loss from anything. I get experience, bro. Yes, 100%. 100%. Listen, yeah, did I ever get all the credit that I got for the hours and hours of social media work I did, for the hours and hours of production work that I did, produced my own dance segment with my own sounds, my own background music, my own audio, my own graphics? Did I ever get any kind of credibility for that? Nope, nothing for years. I got it all though. I got it all. And guess what? Because of that, now I scooped that on to doing other things. So you're right, Dante. It's a learning experience, but there's no loss from it because I gained the ability to do those things. And now I do things for people to actually give me the respect that I deserve. Javon says, how about those same outlets? Oh, man. Look, Javon, you just hit another one. You just hit another sore spot on me, bud. Again, I said, and this is coming from a wrestling fan, right? This guy, how many wrestling shows do we got now? Hey, I'm listening. Where's all the where's the Ric Flair talk? Right? Where's the Stone Cold talk? Where's all the ECW? They don't even know what the arena is, but we're going ECW. No idea. Where's all that talk now? Nah, it's all gone. It's all gone. Right? Because guess what? There's nothing in it for them now. Nothing. All they did was they curtailed their audience and curtailed their numbers based on a live production. That's it. That's all they did. That's all they did. And it's a shame. Because guess what? For all those independent wrestlers out there that are sleeping in their car right now, driving to Canada just to try to put on a show for $50 in a school auditorium, just in the hopes to make it to NXT, to make it to a performance tryout, the Monster Factory. How about a shout out to the Monster Factory? Who knows who they are over in Jersey? How about we throw the Monster Factory on, right? Because those dudes been doing it forever. Right? But nobody talks about the Monster Factory over there in Pensacola, New Jersey. They damn near had to create their own movement to say, we always been here. Why? Because nobody cares. You know why? Because there's nothing in it for them. Nothing. When those people go in there, listen, Deonna Purrazzo, who the virtuosa, if you know who that is, started at the Monster Factory, trained at the Monster Factory. Okay, how many people knew that? Oh, that's right. I actually studied wrestling. I actually wrote wrestling, right? I didn't do it because it gave me some ratings. I actually bought into what I was talking about. And that's dude, it is terrible. It really is, man. It just it doesn't stop either. It doesn't stop. And it continues to get up my crawl, man. Yep. Or when they steal your ideas, they flat. It's so painfully obvious. You know what, man? Oh man, it is so true. I've said this before, and I said it again, man. Like I have a whole new agenda moving forward. Got a lot of big things coming up, man. I honestly like really, really cool stuff. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You can write a quote graphic all you want. You can write an image. You can do whatever you want. But can anybody get on the microphone and actually back up what they talk about? Like, I listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I have one of my top clients, man, international speaker, own speaking. Listen, goes overseas. Okay, overseas. What is she doing with me? You know what she's doing with me? It's because I treat her like an individual. Okay. Because she doesn't see quote graphics about how I run a business and how I build a following. I do a Zoom call every week and go face to face and bounce off ideas and do Zoom training and show her how to do things, show her how to do interviews on radio, on TV. How many of those other people actually do that? Or do they just go on AI or in Canva and they grab a friggin' template and they just throw some words behind it, right? That's the difference. When you can go do that, come talk to me. That's all. Javon, Bob Cooney, excellent. Excellent. Amy Fadul, excellent. Hey, I am so listen, I will continue to say this, man. This is turning into HRS late night, Javon. This is because I said this again. I give credit to everybody who I feel deserves it. And whether you think I'm a little guy, a big guy, it doesn't matter. If you deserve credit, I give it to you. I turned on the radio, turned 97.5 about 4 weeks ago. And you can go back, watch my tweets. I listened. I like Bob Cooney. Like people, I like Bob Cooney, man. Again, why do I like Bob Cooney? Why? A guy who's been in a locker room, a guy who's been a beat reporter, a guy who's covered a team, a guy who's coached, a guy who knows the game, and a guy who has respect. Doesn't come on social media and try to throw out a tweet because it gets people fired up and wants people to talk. No, he gives his professional opinion. Things like tonight, perfect example. Tonight, and these are the things I remember. I was going to pick my son's Chipotle up, right? Chipotle, right? Everybody loves Chipotle. Going to pick up my kid's Chipotle, throw on a radio preview. They had Gina, forget her last name. I apologize, who writes for the Inquirer. Very, very good. First question Bob Cooney asked about Tyrese Maxey. And this is how you can tell Bob Cooney knows. First thing Bob says is, Gina, quick question. You mentioned that you saw Tyrese Maxey about an hour and 15 minutes before the game inside the locker room where you asked him how he was feeling. Does he think he's going to play? And he said, yeah, he hopes he can. I'm looking at that from the year. Remember this, from the years I've covered the team and covered the sport, I know as that being a good sign. That shows my man knows. That is information that is learned. That is information from doing the grind, from being on the beat. Somebody actually knows. I have all the respect in the world for Bob Cooney. I'm glad they gave him a midday show. And I'm also glad? I'm glad that they continue to have Amy Fadul on. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. 100% transparent. When I would watch Amy Fadul at post games and pre games, I was like, okay, listen, she's a host, right? She reads her script, she does her notes, all good, does a good job. Then I turned on the radio one day, and she was a special guest with Bob Cooney, and she talked 40 minutes and literally blew me away. I had no idea that Amy Fadul had the knowledge that I heard. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like honestly, I had no idea she had the knowledge that I heard. She went back NCAA basketball. She went back. I mean, the way she broke down the NIL, like I've never heard anybody break it down. She broke down the transfer portal. I never heard anybody break it down like that. She went back to the O'Bannon days in UCLA. I listen, she was all over. And ever since then, she's been on there every single week. And goddamn, she deserves it. And I listen every week. Not ashamed to say it, I listen every week because that's somebody who knows. Amy Fadul's not formulating a fabricated argument. Amy Fadul's not trying to get clicks. Amy Fadul is actually giving you solid information. Love it. That's the kind of stuff I listen to, right? That's the kind of stuff I listen to. Dante says, no one wants to listen to I'm right with you, suck, and I'm going to pump up my chest controversy. Only sells to those that have an audience established. Us little guys got to be humble. Yeah, man, listen, again, it is what it is anymore. Okay? It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. Again, I say it all the time, and this is not being cocky, okay? And this is at all. But I say it's pretty funny that I've been told by specific people that I don't have enough broadcast experience, and I'm kind of not for them. Although I can go audition at Sirius, and I can talk on national radio and run my own show and do my own pregame and do my own script and not have an issue. Amazing. What does that tell you? Right? I've said it all the time. What does that tell you? It's just funny. It's just funny to me. It's all good though. I'm having a ball. Listen, I am having an absolute blast. The Blue Coats are a wonderful family. I am so happy they've allowed me into it. Okay, doing the podcast, I love every second of it. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I've met so many fantastic people. Again, shout out to Alex Yo for giving me the opportunity, and it's only going to grow from here, which is great. I've seen people that just consistently kill it. Another person that does not get enough credit. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I always call the people out that deserve it. That's Kayla Santiago. And I will say this right now. Kayla Santiago is the next big thing. You know how, again, Brock Lesnar and wrestling was the next big thing? Kayla Santiago is the next big thing. She is unbelievable, okay? And I watch her. I've seen her. She's been humble enough to come on a show with me when I was just starting. Didn't know anything about me, okay? And again, not easy to do, right? Comes on and broke down the industry like no other. Heartfelt, understood the grind, what you want to do. When I watch it, listen, Delmarva Sports Center out there. She does everything for Delmarva Sports Group out there in Delaware. She's sideline reporter for the Delaware Blue Coats. Does a ton of other stuff, man. She does post-game shows for the Eagles. Not a big fan of the outlet she does it for, but it is what it is. I'm a fan of her, and she does great work. Again, consistently killing it, man. Consistently killing it. Dante says, it's funny when the same guy is single and has no other. Yes, I love this point, man. I don't have my drop set up for tonight because I wasn't expecting to do this, but I give you a huge big round of applause for this one. It's funny when the same guy is single and has no other responsibilities, and guys like us married or have kids and still grind and know our shit. If I had time, I'd be a fool. I say that all the time. Dante, I say that all the time. And I'm gonna give you some insight, man. 100%. And this is me being real. It's the only way I know how to do it. Apologize, allergies are creeping up on me a little bit, but I gave up my full-time job last year, and I decided to go all in with company that I built, which will be 5 years strong in August, which I'm very happy for, and all things sports media. And it wasn't an easy decision, man. It wasn't an easy decision. But what I will say to everybody out there that who wants to do something like that, I will always say and consistently say, have something else. Multiple income streams. Have multiple income streams. Always understand you're going to have something coming in because there's going to be times, right? There's going to be times where, man, it's going to be up and down. It's going to be up and down. And if you have multiple income streams, you don't have to tie you don't have to hit your wagon to one outlet, right? You don't have to, man. You don't have to hitch your wagon to one outlet. Man, the sleepless nights that I put in, the sleepless nights, like I'm 100%, man. Like my story is very unique. And I was very, very lucky and blessed. But why some guys I was a boiler engineer. Okay. I was a boiler engineer for years. I worked at a chemical plant and I worked rotating shift work, 12 to 16-hour shifts. And I didn't do a lot, right? My buddies used to call me Homer Simpson. He said, look, Homer Simpson, you don't do anything except watch fire, watch screens. And you're right. That's what I did. That was the job. And those jobs are out there, right? And I got paid a really good amount of money. But here's the thing. Why some guys decided to sleep and some guys decided to read books and so I put my energy into learning, watching YouTube videos, watching how to do things, watching other people, seeing how they formulated brands, understanding, what direction I need to go in, understanding, who to follow, who not to follow, understanding how to build and be successful, and honestly find my way and find what I actually want to do. And then, I would do little by little by little by little, right? Little by little, and just build and build and build and build. And then when it was finally like, I got two choices. I can either say, you know what? It was great, but I need to make all this money. Or I could chase my dream because I can listen, I'm not going to live high on a hog, but I have enough. Might cut back a little bit in the beginning, but I have enough. And that's what I did. And then before you know it, you grab a couple newer clients and you do a couple new business ventures and you're right back to where you are. Because you find out the energy, that big amount of energy that you wanted, that energy that you could never put towards your passion, you finally had the ability to do that. And now that you did that, now everything goes next level. And now, here's the thing. You were out working cats who were doing it full time when you were doing it part time. And then when you start doing it full time, you're burying them, man. You're burying them. And that's what happens. And it comes out. And it comes out. And it comes out. It's simple as that, man. Dude, you didn't even say that. I appreciate it, man. You same thing, bro. Same thing. Hell of a sacrifice. The way you talk is the way you are. And that's the same. See, that's the funny thing. I will hang my hat on this all the time. I had two people say to me in the past probably 3 weeks, because I do a lot of consulting work. I do a lot of mentoring work. A lot of people will come to me, and I do have a candidly. We set up conferences, Zoom calls, and they'll ask me like, I want to do this, but I feel like I need to kind of tone this down or tone that down or tone this down. And I say it all the time. I say, no, you don't. They said, what do you mean? I said, why? Why do you want to make it more difficult? And they look at me like, what do you mean more difficult? I'm like, why do you want to give yourself another personality that's not authentic? Now it becomes harder. Now it becomes harder because now you can't just be you. you have to be somebody else. You have to be always prepared to be that alter ego. You always have to be prepared to be another person, which means you're always going to have a skeleton in your closet. When you get to be authentic and get to be real, no skeletons in the closet, man. Just you. You're just you. Strip down, you're you. I go into a bar, I have a drink with somebody, this is who they talk to. I go to a news conference, I go on a Zoom call, this is who they talk to. Right? And again, and that's why I say it's so important to be real, because I will trust somebody who's real and transparent over somebody that's a personality and a parody any day of the week. Any day. I don't care what line of business you're in. It don't matter. It don't matter. Man, I've referred more people to a lot of my small businesses over the years than anybody I know. And the reason why, you know how many people, and again, I am not like, if people are, oh, it's just being cocky. I'm not, I'm being honest. Well, I'm telling you this because, again, I'm trying to help, right? I'm trying to help. Maybe, I started this youth sports movement, not because I thought I was going to change it, right? I did it because, number one, I wanted to create a no judgment zone. I wanted to create a safe place, because when I told my story, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, wow, like that legitimately moved me. And you've made me feel so comfortable to be able to open up, because I was always afraid to talk. And now that I know somebody else was going through the same thing, number one, I don't feel like I'm an outcast. And number two, it makes me feel a little more grounded, because I know I'm not going crazy. Right. So my point was, I'm going to start that movement because I know I'm not going to be able to change the craziness and the out of control, pattern of youth sports. But what I can do is I can help that parent of an 8-year-old who's just starting and help them prepare for what lies ahead. And which is why I'm talking about this tonight, because, I've been told by so many people, man, Tony, I love it because you're just so real. I've had people call, Tony, I got to get a roof done. You know somebody, because if I know you give me somebody, I know they're legit. I had 2 people I referred to my roofer this week, right? Because I don't want anybody to get screwed. Like, that's the thing. I don't make any money. Like, listen, I'm not making any money by referring somebody to this specific roofer. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not making a dime. But what I'm doing is I don't want somebody to get screwed, because those people are good people, right? Those people are good people. And like I said before, I'm a loyal guy, right? Guy who did my roof didn't do me wrong. Did me right, was very reasonable, did the job the right way, helped me out with certain things when it came to insurance. Man, did a fantastic job. So I pay it back to him by referring him out. But I wouldn't refer him out if he didn't do a good job. So there goes the relationship, right? Now people come to me and ask me about that. They get a good job. So now they form a relationship with me, right? So now, good people doing good things, doing good work. It's so simple, but so many people don't get it. Everybody thinks they have to be one above the next. Everybody thinks they have to go beyond, tear somebody down, stab somebody in the back, be jealous, not say, well, you know what? He's doing a really good job. I can only hope to do it just as good as him one day. Maybe I can figure out a way to do it a little different and be me and be my personality. But instead of like, oh, this guy sucks, I can't stand this guy, I just want to tear him down, because it's hate. It's all hate. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl, man. I'm serious. Don't. It's not good for anybody. It's not. It doesn't help you, man. It doesn't help you at all. Dante says, I've been helping a couple young dudes with their film and giving them tips and getting highlight tapes for them down. Got it. Listen, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I coach a lot of my soccer kids, and every single one of them that want to get into things like this, and we talk about sports, they talk about it. I love giving them the right direction. I love setting them the right way, trying to help. Right. That's the whole thing. Because I look at it as, I'm gonna get to a point where I'm tired, man. I don't want to do this anymore. Right. But I want to be able to turn on somebody like I was, or like Dante was, or like Javon was, people I respect, and be able to watch. And how am I going to do that if we don't help those youth, right? If we don't help that youth, and I also look at the opportunities that were given to me, right? Again, I will be forever grateful to people that have given me opportunities, introduced me to the right people, just to have a conversation. Dante writes, great statement right here. Kindness is currency. I like to say, Dante, all the time. I say I treat people like people and not dollar figures, right? It ties into exactly what you're saying. Don't treat people like a money sign. Kindness is currency, right? That's how you're getting paid. Kill them with kindness, pay them with kindness, right? I keep saying it. Like, I end a lot of my shows by, do one good thing. If you can, do one good thing tomorrow. Because if we would all do just one good thing for everybody, you'd be amazed at how better off this world would really be. Okay. Because I say this all the time. There's a lot of hatred right now, and I hate it. I do. I was not brought up in a hateful household. I don't care if you're white, if you're black, if you're Chinese, if you're Hispanic. I don't give two shits. It doesn't matter, man. Like, there is a spot for all of us to get along and to all use our brains for good, man. Right? I say it all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be about that. But at the same time, and here's what's important too. And I've tried, and I teach my kids this, and I've tried to teach the kids that I coach this. Because listen, I'm gonna be fully transparent, right? You guys know as well as I do, all of us know that there's things that go around. There's things that go around, whether it be, whether it be, talk about, white people or black people, and right away it's like, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. Man, I try to teach people all the time. Stop judging people based on things you don't know, right? I did not grow up in the African American culture, just like African Americans grow up in a Caucasian culture. So who am I to comment on things that I didn't deal with, right? Why should I even have a comment? All I should be doing is listening and learning, right? I have, there's no recourse for me whatsoever except for education. And I say that to people all the time. But right away on both sides, I'm not saying it's one side or the other, but everybody hates on different things. Like, wait a minute. Like, you don't know. Like when people say that statement, honestly, you've never walked a mile in my shoes. That can go so many different ways. You don't know. Like, I don't know how it was. I have no idea. So how can I automatically just dismiss it? And I think that's one of the biggest problems in our culture right now is we all want to dismiss things that we have no idea about right off the bat. Right? Just dismiss it. Why? Because somebody we don't like said it? Because we don't, how can we agree or even disagree? We can't. And that's my biggest point, man. Like, understand, use everything as an opportunity to educate yourself. Use everything as an opportunity to understand, because you'd be surprised, man. I learned so much by understanding diversity and understanding different cultures. I am like, I am so interested, and I get so excited learning about different cultures and ethnicities, and understanding, going back, historically all the time. And again, like, I think differently, and I know it's all how you're brought up, but I just hate to see that bleed into what we do. Yeah, I do, because I feel like it does sometimes, and it's ridiculous, and it sucks. It really does. It works the same when you talk about male and female, like the women revolt, right? The women's movement, the ladies movement, women in sports. I have a 24-year-old daughter who played softball her entire career. And I understand it. Like, it's funny because I've actually had a few people, I think it's absolutely hilarious that I've actually had a few people, fully transparent, hop in my DMs and basically say I'm out to get all these women because I retweet and I talk. Man, you have no idea what you're talking about. The funny thing is, what you don't understand is for years, I was a huge advocate for the girls on my softball team. And for years, I watched what they dealt with from a softball perspective. And what I mean by that, perfect example, all the boys got the new uniforms, the girls didn't get anything. Year two, boys got the new uniforms, no money left for the girls. Boys got the good practice time, no practice time for the girls. While the boys were on the fields practicing, the girls' field wasn't even done, so they had to practice indoors. In order to get practice time, the girls had to go practice before school instead of after school because the priority was given to the boys. So I've always been an advocate for women in sports. And you don't understand it if you've never had a daughter. You don't understand what that fight's all about. So before you open your mouth up and you preach about something you have no idea about, stop. Stop. I lived it, man. I lived it, right? I lived it. I watched all the filth and the scum out there, right? I'll never forget it. I was coaching. Here's a true story, man. True story. I was coaching. I coached softball from the time my daughter was 9 years old. That's the time she was 18. So 9 years. Still friends. Love them to death with some of the girls that I coach today. Some of the girls may be watching this as always. And best moments I have was coach softball. Really, honestly, best moments. Love them. Girls are very unique, and you form a bond, a very good bond, and it lasts a lifetime, man. It lasts a lifetime. I cannot wait to see them, as they get married and have families, and it's been a game changer. It really has. And the funny thing is, where was I going with this? The battle, the battle as a coach, a softball, because girls are very emotional, and it's a slippery slope. You got to be careful. When they're 12, 13, 14, 15. I learned a lot. I learned a lot, but it was great because you really watch them grow. And because of that, I've always been that mouthpiece for, because I would have listen, when you're a girl dad and your daughter comes to you and she says things and she's like, I have to deal with this, I have to deal with that. It sucks, man. It sucks. Every comment has to be taken a different way, right? Every statement has to be taken a different way, right? But I know where I was going. But at 12 years old, back in the day, it was you got interviewed, right, to be a coach, and you would go through the process. You would do one check. It wasn't like a real background check. It was something else. And then I'll never forget it. That I'm not going to bring up the name because it's over now. But one of the leagues that we used to play in before the league started, there was like an emergency meeting, and come to find out that one of the coaches was having a relationship with it makes me sick, with a 13-year-old girl. And it it made me so angry because I knew this person, right? Like, not like a friend, but like I coached against this person. And I watched him not only destroy somebody and a family, but destroy an entire program, and made it even harder for people like me and people like other people to be able to be a coach, right? And I'm glad. Listen, I have no problem, right? I listen. Make as many clearances as you want. Make sure that you have the right person, because it's just getting out of control right now with that kind of stuff. It really is. I listen, man. I'm not even going to comment. You guys know where I'm going with that. I have a daughter, right? But all I'm saying is, seeing that made me want to fight even harder and, and be that person and be that advocate. And it was great, man. And that's why I continue to do it today because I see the same things, right? I see it. We all see it. It's ridiculous. It is. It doesn't end. It's shame. Like people just want to do good work. They want to do good reporting. Um, and they can't, right? And they can't. And and so I like to be that person. And there's a lot of me, right? So for all the morons that want to jump in my inbox and act like you know what, it's so ridiculous. Like I just laugh. I think it's funny. But that's what happens because people just don't know. People just don't know. Javon says, I tell people all the time, bet on yourself. Create your own content and outlet, and you'll be surprised how much you can do and how many people you'll reach. 100%, man. Bet on you. I did, right? You got to bet on yourself. Even after I was told no, right? Even after I was told no, it wasn't for me. Wasn't for me, right? It wasn't for me. I think that's pretty funny. That's okay. That's okay. I was told no. I created my own thing, and now I'm good, right? No problem. Dante says, even if you were given any opportunity, doesn't mean you can't give an opportunity to someone else. We could say, yes, absolutely. I love that statement. Even if you weren't given any opportunity, doesn't mean you can't give an opportunity to someone else. Right. And think about that. That's how you pass it on. That's how you pay it forward. That's how you do it. I love that statement. I really, really do. I love it. Absolutely love it. But man, this has been fantastic. This has been fantastic. I can't believe we go for an hour and 31 minutes. Started off as a Sixers pregame or a Sixers postgame and just went down a whole nother avenue. But this is the real me, man. This is how I get. I have feelings like everybody else. I have emotions just like everybody else. And sometimes, I should say sometimes, a lot of times they just come out, right? They just come out. And they come out and you just got to let them out. And it's cool. Javon, Dante, I know you guys, Eric from earlier. I know you checked out earlier, but as always, the man, again, my man Al checking in. We always name drop, which is fine. I don't name, listen, I say this, I'll give you a quick last ending thing. So again, fighting for overtime. And I'm going to show you like, and I ask you guys 100% for your support, which I'll continue to ask. For it's a new venture. It's honestly crazy thing is first time I've ever just done my own podcast myself, right? First time ever, which is really funny. It's great. I love it. Right. It's really, really cool. But you know, it's been a game changer. It really has. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm going to tell you a quick story, man. So if you can, and I'm going to share this. This is my pod. Okay. I the new episode, Josh Samar, gonna be once a week. Okay. So again, this is all me, 100%. It's all about fighting for overtime. I came up with the title because in the youth sports game and any game for that matter, you're always fighting for something. And most likely you're going into overtime, which means you're fighting that extra mile, your extra step. So I love the name Fighting for Overtime. And I wanted to at least explain to everybody about anxiety and achievements in youth sports because it's good stuff and bad stuff. Okay. But a lot of this is personal accounts that I dealt with as a father, as a coach, and as a person. But it's also going to be other people that I'm giving a platform to speak. Other people who want to stay anonymous, okay, but have a story to tell. Um, so when I decided to do this, the first thing I said was, I'm gonna lose some friends. And I'm okay with it because I'm gonna tell a lot of stories, but they're true stories. They're personal accounts. And somebody said to me, "Man, aren't you worried?" I said, "Worried about what?" They said, "About somebody getting mad." I said, "Well, if they're getting mad, they know they're at fault because I'm not. Listen, there is no fabrication here. These are true stories, and I could put my hand on a stack of Bibles and take the stand any day of the week. This is real stuff that's happened to me. Okay, so that's the part about being authentic and being transparent. As long as you are good or bad, you never have nothing to hide, and that is the best feeling in the world. The best feeling in the world. Knowing I can do this podcast, Fighting for Overtime, and I can tell these stories. A lot of them, some of them involve suicide, some of them involve, violence, being arrested, all kinds of stuff over youth sports. Crazy, crazy stuff. People wouldn't even believe it, and that's why I'm finally going to tell it because I feel like I need to be a CM Punk, a voice of the voiceless, right? Which is great. Eric says, I'm still here watching the Nuggets game. Appreciate that. Thanks, Dante, as always, man. I appreciate it. Don't even watch baseball. Something told me to click on this. Listen, I love it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dante. You're always, man. You're always in and out. You know what? And that's the thing. Like, we've been going back and forth for years about this. So, and again, anybody that's in this chat right now, if you yourself, if you know of somebody, either or, I'm going to be doing interviews based on that topic. Oh, if there's something that you can elaborate on, I'd love to have you on the show. Something that's happened to you as you were growing up that affected your mental health in a good or a bad way when it comes to youth sports. Maybe you're, with your family, a friend, anything. Let me know because I want to document all these stories. I want to tell these stories because I want to continue to get those messages from people to say, "Oh, you know what, man? Thank you so much for talking about this because I did not know that I wasn't the only one." And that's I say to everybody, you are not alone. It's a no judgment zone. It's a safe space, and we're here to help. So again, Sixers heartbreak in 30 seconds. The Knicks steal game 2, and the chronicles of Tony Cotillo in the media world. Man, it's been great. Again, make sure you give us a follow. As always, you know where to find me. Heat Ratio Sports when it comes to the sports scene. At Windale Sports when it comes to sports betting and DFS. Fighting for Overtime. I just started an Instagram page at Fighting for Overtime, where I'm going to be putting all the content up, obviously, and then Rise and React Media, which is my media company, that's going to be doing more than just the work that I'm doing now. It's going to shift to some more sports work as well, which is pretty exciting. Got some great, got a couple guys that I interviewed in the draft on Thursday, so I'm pretty excited for that. I hope they get drafted in the first or second round. Really, really pulling for them. I have more on that later. But as always, man, everybody have a fantastic evening. We'll catch you back here Thursday and see what happens. But for now, go Phils. Looking hot, and go Sixers when they come back home. All right, everybody, have a good night.